Well, how do we stay connected in this time, especially in this time where we read about economic contraction? We may also experiencing it as a sales professional, where things might not come as easy as they even did a year ago, or maybe even 6 months ago. So for me, it's very important to notice how my ego actually doesn't want to connect with others. So it goes into overdrive trying to just look out for number one, which of course makes me less effective. So what I have to do is I have to pull myself back and say, given this challenge, what's the entity bigger than me that I'm connected to that can help me to address this more effectively? And that entity is always my team and my colleagues, and sometimes other people that I haven't thought of for a while. What about you, Elena?
To me, staying connected is about communication and communicating to others on your team, communicating to clients, and but communication has to be intentional, and you have to be in a quiet, calm space, right? So kind of subdue all the noise that you might have, all the worries and fears and so on. And in that communication, focus both on verbal and nonverbal. You could learn a lot, and you also sort of send these vibrations depending on how how calm and confident you are. Um, and the more energy you spend on worrying and fears, the more you sort of feeding that rather than your own confidence and optimism. How about you, Carson?
I love that. Such an important question, staying connected. And Elena, you hit it. I mean, it's all about intentionality. That's how we do it. We have to be intentional about it. But I have a friend and colleague who shared with me recently that, really all activities and things that we endeavor to do, they're all built around a bid to connect. We want to be connected. But why is it so important? And especially in times like this where the tectonic plates have shifted a little bit, especially from the lens of a seller or a sales leader. It's all the more important that we're intentional about how and why we're connecting. And maybe we show up different. Maybe we show up more from a personal perspective. I think there's a lot more room now to sit and listen. And if the pandemic taught us anything, it's okay to not be okay. And so as a sales leader, spending time with my team and, really understanding them more from a personal perspective, as a seller, reaching out to colleagues and mentors and being intentional about the learning and growth that we want to have. These are all very important. The last thing I would share is, as a sales leader, I think it's very important that we also foster that connectedness of our teams. I've always encouraged my teams to do players only types of conversations or form betterment committees where they're meeting and gelling and collaborating without me. Perhaps there's a spokesperson that can give me some of the actionable insights that come out of that, but they need to spend the conscious time without me. They hear from me enough. They need to spend enough conscious time gelling and collaborating, sharing best practices, learning from each other, because building that community is so important to keep things cohesive, to make sure that people are collaborative, and then they know that they always have somebody to turn to during uncertain times.